Hello everybody, I'm Catriona Morten, I'm a sensory-motor psychotherapist, and today I'd like to talk to you about intentions and why it's so important to know what lies behind the intention, because that's the thing that we're receiving and it may not match the words that we're hearing. But before I jump into that, if you're enjoying these videos, then please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, because it really helps us get our message out there to loads more of you. And just one more thing, we now have a members only and exclusive area that we're going to be putting up exclusive videos, sometimes longer content, different things, resources that you can use. There'll be things on there that aren't available on the main channel. And so if that's something that you might be interested in, then go to our profile, press join, and I look forward to seeing you there as well. Intentions. How often do we say, or do we hear other people say, it's not what they said, it's the way that they said it. And what they mean is, that was the hurtful thing. The words, they're kind of innocent enough, nothing you could really take to task, but they felt really uncomfortable. They felt negative in some way, demeaning, or a little bit angry. And we feel it. Intentions are energetic things. They're emotions. There's, I intend you to receive this like this. I'm going to disguise it with some very innocuous words. These things are very, very difficult to deal with. And often what we do in the first instance is we will second guess ourselves. We will doubt ourselves. We will say, oh, I'm sure they didn't mean that. I'm just being silly. Maybe I just took it the wrong way. Maybe I'm a bit tired or a little bit stressed, or maybe they were just having an off day. I'm sure they didn't mean that. But you've received something. The words and the body language and what we receive didn't all match up. And that makes us really uneasy. We really like to be able to read people, to know what's coming, and to be able to trust what's happening in the moment. If we sense an underlying current, an agenda that's lying underneath the surface, it makes us very, very wary, and understandably so, because that person's not being honest about the way that they're communicating, or they're not being honest about the way that they're feeling. Now, sometimes that's because of their own stuff. For some people, growing up, being direct was not an option. And so they've had to learn how to deliver a message, but in a way that's not going to get them kind of caught out. But it really should be something that we give an awful lot more attention to and credence to. And it should be something that we're taught to work on, and also how we can manage it when it's coming up with other people, because it can have a massive impact. When I used to be running groups, and someone in the group would say, oh, can I give you some feedback to another group member? Or can I make a request to the group? If I sensed anything, or I knew there was stuff going on, then often I would say, just before you give your feedback or make your request, can I just ask that you just check in with yourself, just to really be curious about what it is you want this person to hear, what message you're trying to deliver, and what emotion that you're really feeling at the moment, just so that that doesn't come across when you're doing your request or giving your feedback. If it still came through, then I would find a way of just slowing that down and taking this out of what is passing backwards and forwards here, because that's not going to go well. If we are in communication with somebody and we are trying to unsettle them, we'll find a way of doing it. And this is a narcissist's dream. They are absolute past masters at this, because what they want to do is unsettle someone, but give no sign, no evidence, nothing that you can really pin them down on and say, no,
you said ... And even if you try that, they'll just say, I don't remember saying that, or, you must have misheard me, or, oh, I didn't mean that. And it's very, very dismissive. Because if the narcissist is trying to unsettle you, there'll be very innocent, very innocuous words, but the intent behind it will be very belittling, very demeaning, it's designed to take you down. But if you come back at them and say, you seem angry, or you seem, I don't know what you mean. No, I'm not. I said, what's wrong with you? And they will gaslight till the cows come home. They will put all the responsibility back on the person. And then the issue, if there was an issue, becomes about what was felt, what was said, what was meant. And you're just on a non-starter with a narcissist, because they know what they're doing most of the time, and they will never take responsibility for it. And they will never take responsibility for doing anything wrong or upsetting the person, because often that's been the whole purpose, the whole intention. If you're not getting anywhere and the person isn't hearing it, if they have a narcissist part, then the best thing you can do is just try and shut it down and say, okay, that's fine, my bad, or let's agree to disagree. Just shut it down and extract yourself, because it will just get worse. If, however, you're dealing with someone who maybe just finds it difficult to be direct, who maybe has had to learn how to do this, how to communicate in this way, that finds it really hard to just own their emotions and bring it and show it and be a little bit vulnerable, or just a bit more open and direct, then sometimes when you say to someone, oh, when you said that, I felt like, when you actually say how that landed with you, then often it will make the person stop and go, oh, did it? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. What I meant was, and they'll either alter the words so that they just are a bit more accurate and match what it is that they're trying to communicate, or it just makes them take a little bit of a, oh, am I a bit angry? If I made you feel a little bit scared when I said that thing, maybe I am just a little bit angry, and that was coming out in a passively aggressive way. Then that can be resolved. If we are feeling something that really doesn't match the words, then if we express that from the I position, I felt, or this is how it made me feel when I heard you say that, and you can explain that, that can be a really good way of actually pinning down what it is that's trying to be communicated in this moment. What is the person trying to express that don't match the words that were used? That's quite often a good outcome to, really be able to kind of open things out, pull them apart a little bit, and get to the nuts and bolts of what is really going on and what the underlying issues are, so long as it's not a narcissist that you're dealing with. When I was doing my sensory motor training, I remember a training exercise that we did, and it will forever stand out, and I think it blew a lot of us away. And it was an exercise on intention. So one person sat on the chair and another person stood behind them and placed their hand on their back. The person with the hand on the back was then given by the trainers 3 different intentions. And we were told to really try and take this emotion or intention on, to really embody it and feel what it feels like, and just allow it to come through our hand. So it was purely energetic. And the person that I was doing it with, and I didn't even know her that well, I got all 3 of her intentions that were coming through her hand. The pressure on my back didn't change. It was energetically what was coming through. I got all 3 loud and clear. And when I did the same to her, she got all 3 loud and clear. Intention is really powerful.
And again, we're only ever taught what we think about things, and we will override how we're feeling, what we're picking up energetically from other people. And we'll often dismiss it and say, it was me, I got it wrong, and not go, I wonder if there could just be something a little bit more behind that. Because it makes us feel really uneasy. If we don't feel that we're really reading this person, that there's an agenda that's going on under the surface, it is really unsettling. We don't deal well with that as humans, because we can sense something's happening. It might be being completely, no, I'm fine. It's like, we know that person's not fine, but they don't feel either safe enough or confident enough to actually say what it is, but we feel it. That indirectness is very contagious. And so if we feel like somebody's not being direct about how they're feeling, because the words and whatever else is going on don't match, then we'll often try and kind of pick around it. Are you sure? Oh, is it da-da-da? Shall I make you a cup of tea? What da-da-da? We do this kind of dance around this thing that's going on. Sometimes it can be very useful to say, oh, gosh, it feels like there's something else going on, but that's okay. Maybe that's just me. But just kind of putting it out there. When we can start being a lot more honest with our intentions, what is it we're carrying around? If we're having a really bad day and we're feeling really frustrated or grumpy about something, then if we then going out into the shops, just about everybody that we're going to be interacting with is going to feel this coming through us, and it's going to feel very unsettling. But they won't know why. If we could be really honest and say, yeah, I'm really pretty raging at the moment, or so frustrated because I can't get this done, then being completely aware of it, allowing it to be there. Don't pretend it's not happening. Oh, I'll just go to the shops and it'll all be fine. It's like, no, I'm taking my frustration out and trying really hard when you're having an interaction with someone not to project this out. What I want to project out is kindness, or just friendliness, or an interest in the other person. That's what we want in our exchange. When we can embody that for this person, they're not going to get this stuff firing out sideways and everywhere and have this unsettling feeling, because it really does unsettle us. We feel it enormously, but we're not really taught to give that a great deal of attention or value, even though we know the sayings like, oh, trust your gut, but we don't often do it. So I would say the key to this, always start with yourself. Being really curious about the next time you're going to send a message to someone, what is it you want them to receive? If you were on the receiving end of this, what would you like to receive? If you want to convey something, how can you convey that to them? Being careful about the words you use, but being honest about the intention that you have. What is it you want them to receive? And then maybe just practicing, if being direct is difficult, just being a little bit direct. We worry an awful lot it's going to get us into conflict, but this indirect way of communicating and giving out our intentions can cause a lot more kind of trouble in the middle with what's being passed backwards and forwards than if we were just to say it and put it out there and own it, not projecting anything onto other people, owning how we're feeling. But we can start by being honest about how we're feeling. When we can't do that for ourselves, it's going to be really difficult to put that out with other people. So practice it internally first. Just being curious. How does that make me feel? How am I feeling about this? And then when you're going to communicate, what do I want this other person to receive through my communications? I hope that's given you food for thought, perked your curiosity, maybe just give you a few tips and clues as to how to deal with yourself, and also how to deal with intentions if you're feeling them through other people. So again, if you've enjoyed this video, then please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and remember, for our members only area, press the join button, and I'll look forward to seeing you there and back here very soon. Okay, bye.